Nagaland State Disaster Management Authority NSDMA Home Department pa UNICEF luguri miligina Nagaland Disaster Risk Reduction Roadmap 2023 to 2040 opor didin workshop rakishe Capital Convention Center pa NSDMA laga joint CEO Johnny Rongmai pa kushik in Nagaland pa disaster risk reduction le lead kuribole aim ase ahia generation khan imde strong pillars rakhibole lagya koigina etia laga monsoon pra resource khan ge impact kura opor de bi kushe tai pra future ready infrastructure banabole lagya kushe.
Now I think our advisor was saying that when there is a drainage block next to my house, or when you run down to Dimapur.
He is also from Assam, but he is now posted in Delhi.
So that I will take them there because we can't show.
Of the resources availability, not because of any other things, but it is because of the climate pattern changing. Now, while we are talking about this, it is very important for us to also understand now what we are doing and why we are doing. Now, these two questions will really help us to understand doing what we are doing much better, doing why we are doing much better. If you really look at all the developmental activities happening today, we have been also telling to the NHI this year that the way they are constructing road is not right, and they never listen to us. And if you see, till today, from Dimapur to Kohima, we are supposed to be getting a 4-lane road, but still we are getting only a 2-lane road, which is due, very, very due to be delivered. So now, if before we carried out the 4-lane constructions of Kohima Dimapur Road, if the concerned agencies or the department or the authorities were to look at what we are doing and why we are doing, it would have been done much better, and today we would have been enjoying a very good 4-lane road. There are many technologies which is available to be constructing this kind of road in this fragile, geologically fragile area of our state, especially in the Himalayan states. So there are many other methods that we need to really look at it. And here all the line departments are very, very important department, especially the urban development with the newly elected ULB species, with us. It will be very important for us to even think of how are we going to develop our new urban bodies, towns and councils and cities from here for 100 years. Now, if you really look at it, that is very important concept. From now to 100 years. See, if you really look at it, Delhi, if there is 1 hour rain in Delhi, almost the entire area of Delhi city is going to be flooded, because the Delhi infrastructure is not built for this time. It was built for maybe 50 years. It was okay, but not for this. So you have to really look at it while we are taking up developmental activities. We need to look at future-ready infrastructure development. Future-ready infrastructure development. And for Nagaland, it is all the more important for us to do it. Now in Kohima, in Dimapur, I do not know, after 100 years, whether the infrastructure that we have today is going to really provide us that resilience. And the unethical or unscientific way of natural resources mining, I would say the rock mining. Our Nagas seems to be having a mindset that 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, and they have worked. So this year monsoon has really impacted the road infrastructure, which we have really invested many years or many resources. So doing disaster risk reduction meaningfully is going to really help and will sustain our infrastructures and our development and our economy. Now the whole world today, if you really look at it, Japan is one example, and even in America is one example. I think in America, especially in the part of Florida, they always have this tornado, and which is really devastating. You know, all that they have built is taken away in few seconds or in few hours time. So all the line departments who are here, we are going to look at this document, beautiful document that we have developed together, and we will be looking at how we are going to implement this starting this year to 2030. Now why we are keeping 2030? Now we wanted to also enhance the Sustainable Development Goals of 2030, the targets, the pillars that each nation have agreed to do. And that target or those pillars are not only for ourselves, but for our generations. Now, those are the targets which is being included in our documents. And how do we translate it on ground is what we are going to do today. So, our coming together, the purpose of it is to share knowledge together, how to translate this beautiful document that we have developed. Therefore, some of us must be thinking, how are we going to implement, how are we going to do without any resources to those activities that we have agreed upon. So maybe those are the questions that we will be also asking today during our panel discussion. Sri Atu, the OSD of the Finance Department, is going to be here to share on those aspects of how we will bring those financial resources. It is not going to be from the Disaster Management Authority, but it is going to be from your own department, your own line department. The resources are already there, so we need to identify. Another one is now we are already working on the 16th Finance Commission. I think most of the key line department might have already been informed by the Finance Department to submit your draft memo to be included in the 16th Finance Commission. So while we are working on the 16th Finance Commission, this is a very, very good opportunity for us to be included.
NSDMA and NRE laga advisor Z Nusieto Newte pra Pinagran de landslide, flood, earthquake, forest fire aro bishi dangor hawa ay bule paria jaga asikugina climate or disaster risk thagi akange long term rukhabule nimide chief minister laga leadership nichide DNDRR roadmap thagi opor jankari dishe edu workshop pa stakeholders kange disaster ahia homoy risk committee kuribule jankari aro strategies kan dishe.
On the Nagaland risk reductions roadmap organized by NSDMA in collaboration with UNICEF. We know that Nagaland is located in the most vulnerable seismic zones, and our land is weak, and we are exposed to multi-disaster such as storm, landslide, flood, earthquake, forest fire, and wind. To address these natural threats, the NSDMA, under the visionary leadership of Sirini Furio, Honorable Chief Minister of Nagaland, and Chairman NSDMA, has met Nagaland Disaster Risk Reduction Map, which was launched last year, the 1st December, during the 61st Statehood Day, with the hope that this will secure the future of Nagaland from such risks. Thus, the NDRR is a policy document designed to achieve long-term resilience in the state from threat posed by climate and disaster risks. Well, here I want to add, as we all are aware that this disaster is a natural happening, and it is more or less like a structural things. But now, in our Naga society, with due apology, I observed that we have a new disaster, and that is booming issue. Rather, only yesterday, our Naga society is a self-sustaining society. we don't depend to anyone. But now, every one of us, from economic to human issue or any activity, we are depending to other peoples. So we have becoming a dependent society in every field. What I observe in my daily life, even if there is a blockade of a drainage near my house, people doesn't bother because that blockade is going to result in a much landslide. But people doesn't bother. They used to look at the government, that government has to do it. So that one peculiar threat has come up in our society, that is everything we are depending. So we need to do away with this habit. These strategic documents designed by NSDMA with the technical support of our UNICEF invested strategy action plans for different stakeholders. It has estimated the baseline of disaster loss and damage in the state, set DTR action under each, that is under Sendai Framework Policy, defined in collaborations from various stakeholders, and set attainable target in alignment with national and global framework, such as the Prime Minister 10-point agenda, the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reductions, and the Sustainable Development Goals. This workshop, led by NSDMA in collaboration with UNICEF, is an effort to explore the way required for the progressive implementation of the roadmap in the coming day in its true spirit. I believe every one of you, the stakeholders from different line departments, will benefit immensely from this workshop, especially in understanding the relevance of resilient governance system, efficient social sector services, livelihood resilience, emergency response system, infrastructure resilience, and risk-informed urban development for bringing long-term resilience to the state. Since it is an activity-based workshop, I encourage each participant to actively learn the art of result-oriented project, proposals, formulations, method, and technique, which have been designed exclusively considering Nagaland topography, germopology, and culture in mind. By the end of this workshop, each participant will have the skill to develop a DRR proposal echoing the values of a climate and disaster resilient Nagaland. Our expert from NSDMA and UNICEF will explain the detailed implementation process of the roadmap, involving the role of various stakeholders, including the government, academia, private sector, and civil society group. By securing sustained commitment of human and financial resources from all stakeholders, we aim to minimize disruption caused by disaster and enhance our capacity to recover swiftly from any future hazard. The launch of this NDRR roadmap signifies a pivotal advancement toward a safer and more resilient Nagaland, underscoring our collective dedications to strengthen preparedness for preserving our landscape and heritage from disaster risks and ensuring sustainable development. Together, let us build a resilient Nagaland where every citizen can thrive without the fear of disaster. Once again, I thank all the stakeholders for your participation in this workshop, and I also congratulate the NSDMA official for vigorously pursuing to make our state a knowledge house for disaster management. Thank you, and May Nagaland continue to flourish